Hello, YouTube. It's me, John Avenger, once again, and welcome back to Horrorfest. And yes, once again, this is not a horror movie, but it has horror elements. This is the sequel to the 2010 surprise hit, Percy Jackson. This is the sequel that came out in the summer of 2013. I saw this in the theater. It was in my honorable mentions of that year. And I liked the film a lot, and I got it on Blu ray. So, Percy Jackson, Sea of Monsters. Now, this one I actually like a lot as well, even though I think the first one has a better story and it's more simpler. But this one, they delved in deeper into the characters, which was nice to see more of Percy Jackson's, family heritage and all that. Basically, in this one, there's a tree that protects the land from invaders or whatever in where the people train in Percy Jackson's world, and it's dying, and they have to get a item called the Golden Fleece, which is from Jason and the Argonauts, to heal the tree so that it can go back to life and protect them from evil. And I basically the movie, it has a very fast pace. Like, it's 106 minutes. They chopped down the running time. They made it much faster. It has jokes, but not as many as the first one. And most of the cast comes back. These three are great. Alexander Daddario, Brandon T. Jackson, and Logan Lerman, they're back. I know they gave Alexander Daddario a blonde wig or whatever, but it didn't bother me because hair color doesn't matter as long as the character's intact, and she was. I did like the actor that plays the Cyclops, who's Percy's half brother. Spoiler alert, the one right here. He kind of looks like a Twilight reject, but I do like the actor. He's a Canadian actor. He did a good job. He had to wear glasses for like half the movie, and but he did a good job. And I did like Stanley Tucci. He was in the movie. He played a decent role. Jake Abel, they give him a bigger part in this as the villain because Steve Coogan couldn't come back because he was doing Despicable Me too. And the film looks great. Just like the first one. I don't know if it's the same director. It's the director that did the first Dire Wimpy Kid film, Thor Fordenthal. He did a good job because he knows how to direct young people. And yeah, I like the action sequences in this movie. The creatures, the sea of monsters, that sea water horse looks beautiful. All those colors when they're riding on it, the CGI looks really nice. The creature in the beginning, that giant bull that's chasing them through the woods, just like the first one with the Minotaur or whatever. And you have this creature that's on the boat in the scene where they get on the boat, and Jake Abel's there, and he tries to fight them. That creature looks pretty cool. Um, Also, I like the girl from the Hunger Games is in this movie. Not Jennifer Lawrence. The girl that was in the first Hunger Games that dies is in this movie. She plays a new supporting character that I liked. I thought she was really cute and strong, and she wasn't a freaking SJW. Wink. That's all I'm gonna say. So no trolls out there say, "Oh, you're gonna just bash on the Force Awakens again." I promise I'm not gonna mention it in this review. That's it. But she did a good job too. I like seeing her. She has a nice face, which is always nice to see. And the film didn't feel that long. The Kronos creature at the very end is this giant horn creature that stomps and is made of fire. I think this is way better than like Wrath of the Titans, which I've heard terrible things of. It came out a year before this, and that movie bombed. And I heard that it was worse than the first one. But yeah, I'd rather see this because I like these actors a lot more. They're non-British for the most part, and it appealed to me. Like, I never read the books. I just bought this like 2 months ago and on Blu-ray at 7-Eleven for $5. Worth my purchase because the Blu-rays always look great of these films, recent movies that I like. And yeah, this film has a lot of production value, a lot of entertainment value. It doesn't feel too long. It doesn't have scenes that take me out of it. Like, since it's a face, the pace is faster. The movie just goes by real quick. And some people said, "Oh, the movie's not violent. That he's using the butt of the sword. He's not cutting people's heads off with it." This is a PG movie, just like the first one. They're not going to take, Percy's not going to take a swear word, take a sword, and cut somebody's head off like he's Wonder Woman. That's not going to happen in the PG. Sorry, but for what we got, for a sequel that came out 3 years later, I like it. I think it's really well done. It's an underrated sequel because this movie should have made more than other summer movies that year in 2013. And you know who you are. I'm not going to mention it. But yeah, the film's a lot of fun. If you like the first one, I think this is a fun follow up. Uh, it's funny. It's got a great cast. The cast that returns and great visuals. The story is interesting about the Golden Fleece. There's a scene, spoiler, that Alexander Daddario's character is dying, and they try to put the Golden Fleece on her to try to save her because he doesn't want to lose her because she's important to him. And I get it, the strength of friendship, and also him and the Cyclops, his stepbrother, they get along well. I thought that had a good spark in the movie. I bought them as like stepbrothers. It's really well done and family oriented, and it's fine. I'm fine with that. The film wasn't scary. It didn't go on for like 2 hours because sometimes a fantasy film, we get it. Get us through 90 minutes or so, or an hour and 40 minutes, and get us through. You don't have to drag it with like unnecessary subplots or scenes that go nowhere or bad pacing where it's slow, nothing happens for an hour. No, this is not the kind of movie. It's very well done. It's got horror elements, the scene of monsters, well done special effects, and it's an interesting premise. And I wish that there was a third movie. Like I wanted to see a third movie a year after this, or like in 2015, instead of these shitty reboots. You know who you are, sequels that we got this year, or freaking remakes that don't need to be made, or freaking movies that are like not they're original movies but they still bomb and they're useless, like Valerian. Why was that made this year? That movie cost more than this, and it was a huge bomb. It didn't even make 100 million, and that's based on a comic, and it wasn't something a sequel or a remake or a prequel, but it still sucked. And I like the visuals better here. And this is a much shorter movie, and it's got a better lead. Logan Lerman is better than Dane DeHaan any day. Even on his best day in Chronicle, Logan Lerman's a better actor. He has a better track record. Alexandra Daddario, beautiful. I don't care what you say about Baywatch. That woman is beautiful. She was the only thing that kept me from shutting off the Texas Chainsaw 3D movie because I hated that movie so much. That came out the same year as this, and at least in this movie, Daddario definitely won me over because I'm like, okay, she sucked in Texas Chainsaw 3D, even though she tried the best she could with the weak material. But in this movie, at least she was just as fun as in the first movie. Is she as tough as she was in the first film? No, but they're like, oh, they try to make her Hermione. Oh my God, they're trying to copy Harry Potter. Blah, blah, blah. People will always have a reason to bitch on the internet. That's why it's called the World Wide Web, because everyone in the world wants to go on the web and bitch and bitch and bitch. I don't have much to bitch about in this movie. Yeah, would I have liked Pierce Brosnan to come back as the centaur? Yeah, but he wasn't really that big in the. He wasn't a big part in this first movie anyway. Also, Catherine Keener and Joe Pantoliano don't come back, but it's fine. It's Percy's story. Like I said, just like with Harry Potter, this story was interesting. I know my friend Brian hates these movies. He probably read the books. I didn't. As movies, they're fun. They're not PG-13 Wonder Woman fun, but they're fun kids movies, family films that are not going to offend your children. And unless they have, they're scared of fantasy action, violence, some scary images, and mild language, but nothing that's too gory. You're not going to hear the F word in this movie. This is a PG movie, just like Frozen was that year. And I made a shit ton of money. But I would recommend this movie. If you have seen the first one on DVD or on cable or whatever, and you like it, I think the second one is a fun follow up. And I think a third movie would have made this close the trilogy on a high note. Because after this one, I'm like, I can't wait for the third movie. And then Logan Lerman and them do other projects, and the third movie never gets made. Hopefully, if they do a Netflix series and they turn Titan's Curse into a freaking TV show or like a mini TV mini series that's 3 hours and fleshes out the characters more, I would enjoy it. Even if they do recast, as long as they don't put a bunch of foreigners that I don't like. I already made it clear. If a foreigner has a shitty accent, has a face I don't like, or they're a group of people that I'm not a big fan of, then it's doomed. Like with the freaking second Pacific Rim. You can say whatever you want about episode 8. It's your opinion. You can see it. Have fun. I'm not gonna judge you. But Pacific Rim Age of freaking Uprising or whatever it's called, I'm not interested. Boyega is not going to save that movie at all. Because yes, it's accent in this movie and it sounds freaking terrible. It's like it doesn't haunt me, but I just don't like it. Here, it's devoid of this mostly. I think the guy that plays Pierce Brosnan's role has one, but he's barely in the movie. It's mostly an American cast, which is fine with me. I know it's based on Greek mythology, but hey, you work with what you got. If it's supposed to be for a U.S. audience, make it more for the U.S. Don't beat us over the face with, you see how international we are? No, I don't want any more Rogue Ones, okay? One of the worst castings I've ever seen in my life. One of the worst. See? Didn't mention episode 7. Ah. But anyway, this movie is a lot of fun. See it. Buy it, rent it, download it, freaking get the digital copy. This one didn't was already expired because it's a movie from 2013. But I'm happy with this movie. It's a fun sequel, a really good follow up to the first one, and there's enough production value and entertainment to go around. So I would recommend it, especially for Halloween with all the fantasy movies that have tons of references to horror, witches and goblins and trolls and other stuff. It's all in good fun. So I like Percy Jackson Sea of Monsters. I think it's underrated. It didn't deserve to get bad reviews from critics. It's not a masterpiece. It's not trying to win awards. It's just a fun summer movie. And we didn't get enough of those this year after Spider-Man Homecoming. There. Mic drop. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Take care, and I will see you in the next review. I promise it's going to be a horror film this time because I want to keep that spirit alive. So see you in the next one. Oh, and by the way, Josh, I know you've been gone for a while. Please see my videos and tell me what you think because I know it's good to have you back, man. Later.